Hi guys, hello. Welcome to my channel. This is my first video, my intro to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. It took me a while to agree that I was going to do this, especially for something dedicated to tech, because that's the field I'm in. And this channel is going to be more around tech, actually, talking about the major topics in the market, some of the tools I'm using. We're going to do some recaps as well. So it's going to be a more fun, more rounded channel, but we'll focus primarily on tech. I will be doing my recaps here, but you're free to ignore them as well. And let's focus on the tech topics. I work in the industry, and I wanted to have an outlet, really, because to talk about some of my concerns in the industry and what things I'm seeing. I've put some scripts together so that we don't, because if you leave me, I will ramble. And the main topic for me that worries me as somebody who is quite experienced in this area is what is going on in the world right now. How I live in the UK, and I'm a bit alarmed by, I feel like core engineering is not getting the support it deserves. I feel like a lot of our jobs are either being replaced, offshored, or the salary requirements have now become so poor. It's kind of forcing people either to diversify their skills or go into more management, not because they want to, but it's a way to survive. And I don't know if anybody else is having that problem. Sorry guys, I have my script here. I'm just putting it together. So like I said, I'm not going to hide behind AI. We're going to be having these types of conversations. So I have my topics here. Right, so let's get to it. As I mentioned, my concern about what's going on in the market right now. So let's keep it 100, guys. I think we can all agree that we are all watching. I feel like our jobs are being placed. I feel like we're losing our jobs, not to robots or AI, because that was preposterous in the first place, but to cheaper locations. For example, a major bank in the UK has doubled their workforce offshore and recently gone through quite an aggressive restructuring that puts a lot of IT people onshore at risk. I mean, if that doesn't make, I mean, let's talk about that honestly. How does that make you feel? Like, if they are doing it, others have either done it before because these companies tend to follow each other, or they're about to. So that's something to worry about. Um, and then of course, like, is it cover? I wonder, as somebody who is foreign myself, I don't have an issue with globalization. In fact, I welcome it. If you can get somebody in Nigeria to do a tech job in Poland, or somebody in Poland to do a tech job in UK, that is the point of globalization, right? We're bringing skills from all over the world together to solve problems, and we're learning from each other, and we're building a new global culture. But with everything going on in our social political landscape, where it feels we are moving towards nationalism, I just, I don't know. Are we talking? Is I know for a number of years, some of the tech OGs, people that have been doing this since the 80s and 90s, have fairly and honestly been concerned about globalization as a form of corporate greed. I always looked at it as them not thinking outside the box, but now I wonder, were they right? Is it corporate greed or is it strategy? What do you guys think? Another thing that I was thinking about was, if you think about, like I said just now, globalization, and I want to be clear on this, globalization, offshoring to me is not like, it's not crazy. It's certainly not new. I don't have any issues with it. But I feel like since the pandemic and remote work, while it's been great that companies now understand that you don't physically have to, especially if you're working in our field, you don't physically have to be in an office to get work done. I just feel like we're not being protected. Does that make sense? It feels like it feels like they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. They are saying, with the pandemic exposed us to remote working and the benefits of it, but they also want to see us in the office. Again, I don't mind doing, so some of us don't mind the hybrid, right? But then they are also saying that British jobs for British workers, but then they are also taking advantage of the remote working opportunities to kind of take a lot of our jobs abroad. So you're kind of like, what is the strategy? Where do we sit? What is our future? If you know what I mean. Then, I mean, I work with people who work in tech, obviously, big tech, small tech, and then with the innovations that are coming up with AI, it feels like we are training people to take our jobs. It really does. It really does. Because the numbers don't lie. Obviously, I can't speak, I can't, I'm not going to give you trade secrets. But for those of you who know exactly what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about? It feels like you're training people to take your jobs. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't mind using AI for the more mundane pieces of work, right? If, for example, you're trying to design an asset bundle for your repo, instead of spending days figuring out, okay, this is how you would do it manually, you could use AI to at least set up your framework. You could use some of these enterprise AI tools to kind of set some, like let me use Databricks for example, because that's what I mean when I say asset bundles. Their CI/CD is built with asset bundles. If you go on Databricks Labs, you can get the structure of the asset bundle, feed it into your enterprise AI tool, and kind of ask it questions. Okay, this is my repo. Can you please create an asset bundle and follow this template standard? This is the structure I want, etc. I need to do it for you. And that's great. And I don't see the problem with that. I see it as a good thing. If you're a new team that has never done it before, it's a good way to learn. And again, don't forget, AI isn't always right? You can always look at it with factor and fix. So it kind of, that time to deliver, time to learn, I think it's going to start teaching us how to learn in a different way, because you really do learn by doing and by fixing. But then, but that's AI, because AI feels like this cute little helper by your desk. It's running on your desk. It's running, these agents are the things you are building. So I'm not even going after AI. What I'm going after is, when you train people that are going to take your job offshore and they are cheaper, and you say you're giving them the more mundane things to do, that's fine. But then, do we also sacrifice delivery times, delivery cycles? Because you are still training somebody to do work they've not done before. Let's leave coding or the technical part out of it. They need to understand the business structure, what you're trying to deliver. So it's kind of like we're cutting costs to reinvest what exactly, when talent is walking out the door. So it's kind of like, what are we, in our bid to automate, is it not better to train people to use AI to automate their work so they work faster and give you better delivery times, rather than giving the jobs away? Does that make sense? And then don't even get me started on the corporate side. Like, with everything going on in the UK right now, I can see why a lot of companies would rather just use cheaper resources. Let's keep it real. Just like many of us are struggling with, but there was a time when a 50k salary could take you far. But if you're living in many places in the UK, 50k salary wouldn't do anything for you. The skyrocketing cost of rent, just living, wages, and the almost stagnant changes in wages, it just feels like exploitation. So they can send your job to Poland, for example, and pay them a fraction of the cost, because cost of living is much cheaper than living in London or in the UK. and they are doing, and they are clearly, and in many cases they're probably just as skilled or more skilled than you. Meanwhile, you in the UK are struggling to get by on 50k. But you can't shout too much, because if you walk away, you most likely will not find another job. But then there's the hidden cost, right? That person is still not local to you. There's time differences, staff churn, low, and of course, there, if unless you're that's the thing I was saying. Not having that business or institution knowledge can also be a problem. And then you have managers that are stuck on Zoom at midnight or weird working hours because they're trying to fix problems that could have been fixed if people in the same location were doing those jobs, you know. And I want to be clear: it's not just financial services. Other industries are picking this up, moving jobs offshore, moving jobs to cheaper location. And it's not just tech. I know that right now, this country, at least in London, it looks like every other time you turn, they are building something or they're constructing something. I know Labour's commitment to building 1.5 million new homes, but if the people that have the skills are not around and they are leaving the country because the cost of living crisis is too severe, or which is impacting the type of wages they can get, then how is that going to happen? AI can build houses. No, so and I know someone that was trying to get into sustainable and clean energy, but he was telling me that look, the market and the talent for that type of thing doesn't exist here anymore. They've all gone. They're moving out of the country. They're going to other places. This pattern, I guess what I'm trying to say is this pattern of the UK not investing in its local talent and always looking for cheaper solutions and cheaper ways of doing things is killing this economy, and it's only going to get worse, especially with the cost of living crisis. And yeah, I mean, I know I've gone on a weird ramble, so let me just ask you guys directly, those of you that work. I know I know I went on a ramble into other sectors, but for those of us that work in tech, is this the reality we're supposed to accept now from a capitalist perspective? Are UK engineers being sacrificed on this like ridiculous money hungry, money driven race to the bottom? Are you seeing it in your company? How are you feeling about it? Like, have you had to train people in different locations to do your job? Let me just put my laptop down. I mean, we need to have these conversations, guys. As a woman, a person of color, we need to have these conversations. Is UK fit for purpose anymore? Should we all be packing our bags and going to warmer climates, better places? Is it time to move on or to consider other options? And these are the type of topics we'll be covering on this channel. Not just the deep dives into what is going on in our industry, but I'm very interested in tech, AI, how we can use it to improve our jobs. I'm a data engineer, how we can build pipelines together using different tooling. I work primarily with Google and Azure. Now I want to branch into AWS. Yeah, this is going to be a very interactive tech channel. I'm very keen to build it up. We will have tech topics. And then, of course, like I said, in a separate playlist, I'll be recapping some shows that I've been watching. Let's nerd out together, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that's my intro. This is where my brain is at. I'll try and do a live. If you guys are interested in these topics, let's grow the channel. I can build a live. And then we can talk together and kind of learn from each other. But yeah, thanks for listening to me ramble. And please like, share, and subscribe. Take care.